Today we are taking the reading strategy of Unit 9. The reading strategy of Unit 9 is based on main idea and details. The main idea of a text is the point the author is trying to make. It's the most important thing in your essay or in your story or any piece of writing. The main idea, it's your idea that you want to put it in your essay. It can be anywhere in a text, but is usually found in the first paragraph. Each section of a text can also have its own main idea. You can support your main idea by details. Details are so important for your essay or your piece of writing. They are additional facts or reasons that support the main idea and help to explain it. There are some words that separate the details from the main idea, like for example, first and finally. You can analyze any piece of writing by circling the main idea and underlying the details. If you want to learn more about the main idea and details, let's read together the reading text of Unit 9.
Read. Talking about language.
What is language? There are many possible answers to this question, but most people agree that language is a way to communicate ideas or feelings using signs, gestures, or marks. Since the dawn of time, humans have needed to communicate with each other. We often do this through complex systems, such as speech and writing, but not always. Signs and gestures came before speech, and we still use them to communicate today. Many gestures are understood and used by people of different cultures. These include beckoning with an arm or hand as a sign to come closer, nodding the head as a sign of acceptance, and a smile or hug as a sign of welcome. Gestures of anger or disapproval, such as shaking the head to show refusal, are also widely recognized. Languages around the world. Nobody knows exactly how many languages there are, but experts estimate that there are as many as 7,000. These languages are grouped into families. When languages have a common ancestor, they're part of the same language family. The Indo-European language family, for instance, includes Spanish, English, Hindi, and Russian. When a language is no longer used, such as Latin or ancient Greek, we say that it's dead. However, even after people have stopped speaking a language, they sometimes continue to create new words from its roots. The word astronaut is an example of this. There were no astronauts in ancient Greece, of course, but modern people have combined the ancient Greek word for star, astron, and sailor, naut, to form a brand new word, astronaut. Codes and sign language. All over the world, people who lack the ability to see use a type of code called Braille. Braille was invented in 1824 by a Frenchman named Louis Braille, who lost his sight when he was young. This system of writing allows people to read words through touch. Raised dots on a surface enable them to feel each letter. Today, entire books are printed in Braille. Another type of code, which is called Morse code, is used to communicate over long distances. When the telegraph was invented in 1832, a man named Samuel Morse created this code to send messages using electricity. This system consisted of short signals called dots and long signals called dashes. The code was tapped out in a series of electrical pulses and sent over telegraph wires. It was ingenious. The most famous example of Morse code is the distress signal used by sailors and pilots, SOS. In Morse code, it looks like this. Unlike Braille and Morse code, sign language is a true language. In fact, there are many different sign languages used around the world, each with its own grammar and vocabulary. Sign language is invaluable to people who can't hear. It allows them to communicate by making signs with their hands. What do we use language for? As you've seen, we use language for an important human need, to connect with each other. The message we communicate and the way we transmit it might be as simple as a smile to say, "I'm happy to see you," or as complex as a book on physics. It might even be a secret, like a message in code that's sent between allies. Each of these types of communication lets us tell another person what we know, how we think, or what we feel. Languages are fascinating. They evolve and change. They're born and they die, and we all use them.
Open page 94. A. What is the main idea of the magazine article? What are the supporting details? Fill in the organizer. Together, we will put the main idea and the supporting details of this main idea. Think about it. What is the main idea of this magazine article? Usually, the main idea is in the introduction. See the first paragraph? You will see the main idea. The main idea is language is a way to communicate feelings and ideas using signs, gestures, or marks. The first supporting detail is languages are grouped into families. You will see this supporting detail in the second paragraph. The second supporting detail is codes like Braille and Morse code are not languages. You can see this supporting detail in the third paragraph. The third supporting detail is sign language for the deaf is a true language. You can see this supporting detail in the fifth paragraph. If you have another supporting details, they can be right because this exercise has many possible answers. Page 94. B. Pause the video and try to make it by your own. When you finish, check it with me. Number 1. Languages with a common ancestor are part of the same language family. 1A. 2. Signs and gestures came before speech, and we still use them today. 2C. 3. Sign language is invaluable to people who can't hear. 3D. 4. People who lack the ability to see use a type of code called Braille. 4A. 5. An example of Morse code is the distress signal SOS. 5B. Now check the answers.